You make 300,000, right? Your company.
Right.
It means that you have to do work no less than $150 per hour. But this work costs $5 per hour. Why you doing $5 per hour work? I can find you somebody in wherever, not in the United States, who would do this work for $5 per hour better than you. At least at least at the same level. So why you doing the 5-hour work?
No good reason.
Because you have nothing else to do. Much better to read good business book than doing this. Much better to do nothing, to meditate, than do $5 per hour work. Yeah, and you have to learn to speak with numbers right away. What you started to say is we expected less than this is not. It has to be mathematical. This has to be exact approach, and that's how you should train your manager. We expected 100, we got 90. That's 10% less than we expected. That's supposed to be most important in your culture. In your corporate culture is to talk with numbers all the time. Language of business, not language of love.
Yep, we expected around I would say $5,000 increase in terms of sales from influencers. We expected like a total impression of, I would say, about 80,000 impressions. We fell short of that. We landed in total about impressions last week was only around 30,000 impressions, and in terms of projected sales, we are only up by about 6% rather than the projected 14 to 15%.
What 6% again?
Weekly sales.
Plus 6%?
Yes.
Can you give me the numbers?
Yep. So our average weekly sales is around, for the past month, it was around 73,000 a week. We expected around a boost of around 10,000. So like 73, we expected around 83,000 in total sales. We are only looking at about around a 5,000 increase.
So 78?
Yep, close to 78. This is
so this is a record?
Yes, it's still one of the higher weeks by around $2,000.
Oh, this is $2,000 record.
Right, the projection.
So the record was 76 and now 78?
Yep, so trailing 7 days. So the week hasn't ended yet, so the trailing 7 days is around 78.
Okay. And how much money you spent?
So for this batch, we spent around 1,900.
1,900 on those influencers.
Yeah. One of the main issues we faced was the second biggest influencer was a little past the deadline when he's supposed to post, and we rushed him a little too much, and he just posted a pretty bad video where it ended up being like around like 5,000 impressions, and we expected around 25,000 impressions, and that's his average. So what we learned from that situation is we can't be too aggressive on their timeline, or it's going to be some malicious compliance where they're just going to post it without the best results.
Did you open the second kitchen?
We're projected to open Monday, February 3rd.
So your idea was for them to post videos before opening of the second location?
Yep, we just wanted to get a initial test batch in. We do have more influencers lined up to post when the second location opens to capture more, but we just wanted to get a good sense of what the real.
Who gave you an idea that they're supposed to be at the same time? So why just not just make a deal with influencer and whatever post? Just do it randomly, not at the same time.
Yeah, for some reason I heard somewhere that it might be a good idea to have everyone post at the same time to create this effect where multiple influence or people are posting it and they see it on their timeline more often, which will lead to potentially higher conversions and more trust because more people are posting it. But that might not be right.
It's hard to. I mean, those are not the biggest influencers. Probably the audience is different, and they just see their friends see it, and somebody else has different friends. So if I would just make it the process, and constant process. You find the influencer, make an agreement, then second, third, and at the same time, because logistically, first of all, it's very difficult to do at the same time. That just has to be a constant process.
Yeah.
Not to do it once and just not a sprint. It has to be a marathon.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you know exactly who you see those people? They're buying from the site, not from the aggregator.
So they are a combination of the site and aggregators.
So you're not you don't know for sure how many new clients, new customers
from the influencers.
You just see the increase and
right.
But overall, what's your analysis? Because this is the result. So I have a formula. All management is based on this formula: result, analysis, and action.
Right.
It always has to be result. So now it's just simple results. Was 73, then 78 by 2000 record. It's not analysis. It's just numbers.
Right. So the analysis.
And you have to analyze, and then you have to decide what to do next.
Right. So the analysis here is with those numbers, we still got around 1.6x return from the highest number, from just the increase in sales. Since it is hard to track whether it's directly coming from influencers and new customers, we can't really put the multiple in terms of 1 year lifetime value of the 2.2x. But I would say in our scenario, I would continue to test and the influencer marketing because around a 1.8 return on ROAS isn't too poor for us. We need a little more testing time to see what the true effects are and what the snowball effects are, because we are more of a returning customer business rather than we knew that our cost per customer acquisition is higher than other brands because we don't really have the bells and whistles. But once our customer comes, the return rate is higher. So that's what we're banking on.
How much per week do you spend on advertising?
I am including third-party aggregator commission to that. So if we include that, it's a lot in terms of just percentage-wise, right? It's around 26% of total sales if we include aggregator commissions.
But excluding their commission, but including advertisement on their platform.
So including advertisement.
But you have to look at their commission as the not as a marketing, as let's say delivery. They do delivery for you.
In terms of total percentage on the aggregators, it's around 9.5%, right? So we're willing to divert those marketing dollars from.
If you get 78,000 revenue times, you said
9.5, so around like 7,000, 6.8, 6.9,000.
7.4. 78,000 times 0.995 is $7.4 thousand on marketing.
Okay. Right? For this month, for this week.
For this week. And from this 7.4, you spent 1.9 or additional 1.9.
Right.
Additional, right?
Correct.
So if we calculate the percentage from the weekly revenue, if we calculate, it's gonna be more. It's gonna be 7.4 plus 1.9 divided by 78. So we have around 12%. The marketing budget this week.
Correct.
Remind me, please, what's the net profit in percentage wise?
Net profit after all managed pay.
Your month, like on average, not a number in percent.
percentage around 0.9% or just 9%. Sorry, 9%.
So basically, you have to think like this: that from 9% you spend few percent on the future. Because if your normal budget is 9.5, you spend now 12%. So this is like investment.
Right.
Okay, and who is the manager? Who manages the process with influencers? How are you gonna? Who is responsible? You have one person who is contacting them. How the process works?
Yeah. So we contact them, and what we did is listen to Laurent's feedback last week. We started email them as well. What we did also is we follow up message, and that increased our conversion rate in terms of responses. And then we just send them a creator brief, and we discuss like plans on coming in, getting the food, and when to post.
You do it yourself? Or
I have a contractor as well, but it's a combination of the contractor and myself.
And what do you do exactly?
Yep. So we reach out to the influencers, look for influencers.
When you say we, I don't understand.
Okay. So
in my company, the word "we" is prohibited.
Okay.
So there is no responsibility. We. Who is we?
Okay. So I reach out to influencers.
Why you waste your time?
Nah.
You have to. You make 300,000, right? Your company.
Right.
So it right around the 300,000 right now profit. It means that you have to do work no less than $150 per hour. But this work costs $5 per hour. Why you doing $5 per hour work? I can find you somebody in whatever, not in the United States, who would do this work for $5 per hour better than you. At least not at least at the same level. So why you doing the 5-hour work?
No good reason.
Because you have nothing else to do. Much better to read good business book than doing this.
Okay.
Much better to do nothing, to meditate, than do $5 per hour work.
Understood.
Never say we, and always when you do something, always ask yourself a question. If I would delegate this, how much I need to pay to do this work? In order to build the big company, that's probably one of the most important things. Be an extreme delegator. Never do anything that somebody else can do. Never. Then you would be able to build a big company. Maybe first few hours, yes, I understand, just to try things. Just when idea came to your mind and you want to try and you want to write yourself to the influencer and see what's the response, just to feel it yourself. Yes, but then right away delegate.
Okay.
Especially in your situation, you profitable, you have cash flow coming every day, positive cash flow. So you should use this cash flow to buy people, to buy help.
Okay.
That's how you can scale. And it's not it's not natural. Natural is to do what's easy to do yourself. My approach, I only do things that nobody else can do. That's how I built the company in 6 years with 10,000 people, because I always, if somebody else can do it, I give it to them, and I keep to myself only things that nobody else can do. Strategic, hiring the people, teach people. What's the best ROI for me? It's teaching my managers, because if I teach them, they will do the work correctly. Then the question, to teach what? Management skills. Because in order to scale the company, you have to have many managers, not specialists. Specialists obviously have hundreds, but you need to have skilled managers. And you cannot hire skilled managers because they're very expensive and they work in big companies. So the only way is to hire talented young people with the talent, with the management talent, and then teach them management.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
what resources and what can I learn to learn those skills to teach managers?
You're learning right now. I am teaching you. I'm teaching you like I'm teaching managers.
Okay.
All those principles. Never say we.
Okay.
So since we started, we're talking whatever, how many minutes. I'm teaching you management. First lesson I gave you, never talk in the language of love. More, less, how you started. Always say expectation was 73, average was 73, expectation was 83, we made 78, which is the record. It's not as, it's X% less than 83. That's how you're supposed to talk. And then obviously now you learning from me, and you're learning how to teach your managers. That's exactly how you're gonna teach them. Then I told you second most important things in management, the 3 steps process. Always 3-step process: result, analysis, action. You're learning this now, and you're gonna teach all your managers, not just come to you and say whatever they want. They always my managers always presenting me in the structured way. First is result, but result not the words but with the numbers. Then analysis supposed to be deep, not shallow. What's the difference between deep analysis and shallow analysis? Shallow analysis is, I ask you why the sales are lower. You say because we didn't have enough salespeople. Just an example I give you. This is shallow analysis. What's deeper analysis in this? I ask, good manager always ask why, not one time. Why first time is because not enough salespeople. Ask you, why was not enough salespeople? You say, because two salespeople from our team of 10 was on vacation. Bad manager at this point, he goes on with topic. Good manager go even deeper. Why? You as a coach let 2 people go on vacation, and the team were playing with 8 people when the team was supposed to play with 10 people. Why you did that? So analysis has to be deep. It's a principle I call this principle 5 why. So you ask the question, he gives you an answer. You say, why that? He gives you an answer. Why that? So you go as deep as possible. If you go deep enough, usually, from my experience, the last answer is because I made a mistake. Because I'm an idiot. That's the deep analysis. You find that this was your mistake. So it has to be deep analysis, not just analysis. It has to be numbers. They have to be correct numbers. Very important. But I see that your numbers. I didn't check, but I feel that your numbers pretty correct. And then deep analysis, and then specific actions. And action supposed to be every action is supposed to be who is supposed to do it, when, and it has to be in writing. Then it increases probability that it will be done. If it's if it's without writing, yes. If it's not in writing, yes, it could be done, but the probability is much less. So this is the system. I'm teaching you the most important management basics. And the scaling, in order to build a big company, that's the most important. You have a success right now. Now our goal is to repeat this success in 300 different locations. Just do the same thing, nothing else.
Okay.
So not preparing food is the most important in building a big company. The most important is management skills. How to do the same thing in 300 locations or 1,000 locations. Or 30,000 like Starbucks and McDonald's. They have 30,000. And in order to do that, you have to teach your managers to manage. And it has to be the same principle in all company. On every level, everybody has to speak the same language. For me, that's the culture. That's the corporate culture. Every meeting is three-step process: result, analysis, and action. Action has to be in writing. Analysis has to be deep. But in order to teach, you have to learn. You cannot teach what you didn't learn yourself.
And the results would come from the previous week's action.
What did you say? Yes, and always loop.
Okay.
So every action brings result. Every result you have to analyze and decide what to do. Every action brings result. It's always a loop. But it's either a spiral, the upward spiral or downward spiral.
Okay.
So you have to create the upward spiral. Action, result. First you look at the result. We all have result. Some kind of result right now in our business, in our health, in our relationships. We always have some. We have to take a picture of the result without analysis. Measure yourself without thinking it's good or bad. That's the first step. Then second step is analysis. Analysis is, I'm going to teach all the time what's the deep analysis. How to analyze deeper, and you have to dig. That's the most important. One of the most important in management is the skill of digging deeper. How are you going to teach your managers? Just when you conduct a meeting with them, you dig. They see how you dig, and they learn to dig with their people. So basically, they're gonna learn from you. They're gonna learn from you. And when I have a school, 15 years I'm teaching. I have students, and I give theory with my managers. When I manage my people, theory is maybe 2%. I teach them all this theory in practice, just by looking at numbers. And first I ask them, show me the numbers, then analyze. Then, of course, always shallow analysis in the beginning. Then I teach them deep analysis. And then after that, I teach them after deep and good and deep analysis, it becomes very clear what to do. Very clear. If you do a good analysis, it's very clear what has to be done. And then you have to find who will do what, but you never do 5 hour per hour job yourself, even 10 hour, even 20 hour. If your profit is 300, it means that it's 150. You making right now $150 per hour. If you want to make 1 million, you have to think what I need to do that is worth 500 per hour. So this hour that we spend together, this is worth even much more than 500 for you. That's very good investment of your time. But when you talk to influencer, you're not growing. And that's exactly applies to all your organization. Thousands of things has to be done during the day in the big company, millions of things. But on every level, the top manager cannot do the lower manager job.